Hey guys, welcome to my server slash base tour video. I'm going to be showing off my base as well as some other bases that popped up on the server just to kind of give them some recognition on how long they've spent time on the server during this wipe. If you guys are looking for information on how to join the server, check the description down below, and we will be wiping today once the Play Rust update comes out. The server is called Vanilla Thunder, and we will be wiping XP and the map every single Thursday. That way we can keep this nice and fresh for new players and make sure that there's not giant clans running around with the top tier gear all the time and new players actually feel like joining the server. Alright, so let's hop right into the base tour. I'm going to pretty much do this before every wipe just so people know kind of like how I built. This is one of the only bases that I've ever had pretty much full control over what I wanted to do. The rest of the clan was pretty much just like, yo, we'll give you the materials, do what you need to do. Obviously, I was helping gather for most of the time. Shout out to everybody in the group. We have Chase, Boomer, Gangrel, a little bit of Code, and of course we have Keith, and then I believe it was Fox helping us out. But this was our furnace house. Nothing crazy special about it, just 2-layered metal on the outside, stone on the inside, furnace here. If we had more time, I think we would have probably put a shooting range on the upper portion of this, just so we could shoot out and have another area to shoot from. Nothing really special. We have a ton of wood left over inside this bin. This was all from Fox and Keith. A lot of freaking wood left over. I'll also be showing you guys all the loot that we have left over. We have lost a lot of it, mainly because we didn't get raided or anything, but we went out and just kind of screwed around on the last day because why the hell not if everything's going to get deleted anyway. If you guys didn't know, the server does wipe XP and the map every single Wednesday, or every single Thursday, sorry. And that's because, personally, I like it that way, and I haven't seen any servers that work that way as well. And it just kind of makes sense, especially for new players joining into the server. If it's not a full wipe, new players aren't going to want to join. So we have an armored door. Foundation isn't armored, but the stairs are in the way, so it kind of causes this funky dilemma. It really doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, if somebody's raiding, these metal stairs are in the way, but we probably should have armored up a little bit more. So this is pretty much just like our front room. We don't really store anything here besides food and sleeping bags. If you come up here, we have this janky little box right here that leads to usually our food and water bin, broken flamethrower or whatever. A little light in case we need to have some light when we're trying to go through the inventory at night. So our range wasn't very good. Like, we couldn't really see very much, and we're probably going to fix that solution like in the next wipe, but it still worked. If somebody was at our front door, we kind of couldn't shoot them. I think next time what I'm going to do is have a little bridge come out, and then we're going to have a one of those grate fences to shoot down at the door. I think that would be actually pretty cool. So let's go ahead on out. Or to at least see who is at the front door. And then we have another armored wall, which leads to a turret, which I don't think I'm authorized on. Well, now that that turret is dealt with, let's go on in. So we have 3 armored doors, 3 armored walls to get into the base. This is where we are growing some corn and some hemp. You should have seen our hemp farm before. We have more cloth than probably most people on the server. We had way too much cloth because we have our own little like hemp farm in the back. So this is just kind of like a really heavily honeycombed area. We put bins in like certain rooms, just pretty much drop chests. There really isn't anything like crazy important in any of these bins, just kind of junk and stone and all that kind of shit. You smell. Good job, Boomer. Let's head on up this way. We also had more loot up here, which was kind of like also a drop chest, but we really never use these chests. We put these up here just because. We have a repair bench in this room, and then these are just kind of junky drop chests as well, in case we ran out of room downstairs, if I could fucking get up here. So again, just kind of junky drop chests with nothing really great in them. So, all right. And this is all honeycomb to the teeth. Another room if we wanted to store probably some more expensive stuff I would put in here. More rare stuff because it's kind of an awkward place. I'd put, honestly, another door here, and you could probably fit a small bin or a stash in this corner to store some really good stuff. Pretty much all sheet metal. We estimated it's about 20 C4 to get to the back of into our loot room, which is actually not that much compared to most bases, but at the same time, it is a lot, and you'd have to know where you were going. So these are all sheet metal honeycomb doors. Some of them didn't have locks because we just were too lazy to put them on, and we never got raided or anything. Here's another turret that I'm actually authorized on. Here's Boomer. And other than that, in this area, there's nothing really special. I don't know who did this floor up here. It is completely Honestly, I think it's completely unnecessary. I think it was just there to get rid of the stone or like give it an extra layer of something in case people blew in from up there and they couldn't walk across. I guess it kind of makes sense. But this is just another turret. If they came through this door, they'd meet another turret. And this is actually where our building plan was, right here. There's somebody outside because I talked in the chat. This is where our building, or our tool cabinet was. Very unstable, but we got it to fit there. It's right behind these walls here. And then, obviously, this is all sheet metaled up. You can get back there, or you used to be able to. I think once we put this ceiling in, you can't. So we didn't even worry about upgrading that at all. And then if we come in here, you're going to see we also have more sheet metal with more doors that leads to the back of our base. This is where we respawned. And I wish we had more sleeping bags up front because it was really difficult. Oh, yeah, and Gemma. I forgot to mention Gemma, also part of our group. And Geralt. Another. So we had about 8 people. Most of the time, it was only a given 4 to 5 on at any given time. So this leads back to our gun ammo bin. There was a lot more ammo yesterday, believe me, but we were running around like idiots, just shooting everything and everyone, dying with everything. And then up here is our main loot room that you guys saw in the beginning of the video. At night, we would turn the lanterns and the lights on. And this was our crossbow, kind of like noob bin. This was our meds bin, but I already used all the meds. And this was kind of our junk pistol, also noob bin. So if you wanted to run out like kind of gathering noob, you would go to this bin, and this bin. You'd have medical supplies, you'd have basic tools, and you'd have everything you need. Obviously, there's some tools in here. Guns and armor, tools, attachments, etc. Rocket launcher shots, incendiary rockets, more ammo, armor. This thing was filled yesterday. And then obviously down here, more armors and shit. Pretty much all not even crafted, but most of the time we kill people and run home with them. This was our explosive bin. We had 6 more rockets, but no rocket launcher. To use the rockets, we have cloth, we have mines, we have survey charges. We had actually over 2,000 high-quality metal before. As you can see, we still haven't even used half of our supplies. Here's the gun bin. There was 10, 20 bolt actions, 15, 20 AKs. These were in a different bin, but we kind of started to lose a lot of them towards the end because we didn't mind to lose our gear. Actually, who's in here? I think it's Chase. He's still got an AK, a bolty, and a bunch of medical supplies on him as well. Honestly, everybody was pretty much geared to the teeth after day 2. Day 1, we just pretty much grinded hard with 5 or 6 people, all of us working together, and we found this cave and went for it. So it was pretty awesome. But other than that, there really isn't much to this base besides just hiding behind a shit ton of doors. I think in the next wipe, we won't be building in a cave. I kind of want to build freeform. That way we can do whatever we want. When it comes to a cave, you kind of just got to do what we did right here. You can do some other things and kind of finagle it differently. But generally, when you build in a cave, it all turns out the same and very similar to this. So, what the fuck? He just disappeared. But yeah, that's really the whole base tour. I'm gonna probably fly around and also show you some of the bigger tribes and the bigger clans in the server, and show you guys their bases as well. I don't think they mind if I show their designs because pretty much all the ones that I've seen thus far are pretty unoriginal designs. All right, this is one of the actually bigger, stronger bases on the server. It seems like they actually had some raid troubles recently. But this one has been up pretty much since day 1. Nobody has really raided it. From what I'm listening to, they're working on a triple hatch system, probably able to just defend their base via hatches. They have these double layered walls based on how they built the foundations around it. And honestly, it's a really cool base. One of definitely the tougher tribes or tougher clans on the server. But they're only a group of 2. So, I mean, you can go to show what a group of 2 can even do on this server. Honestly, I think our base probably would have been about this size even if we built out in the open. Because this is like, there's no need to expand what they have built. It kind of would make sense to probably put like a ceiling on their furnace area, but it really doesn't matter. But yeah, it's a pretty nice base. And like I said, it's been up for quite a while. And that's how I know they definitely built it right. Next is this base here. I have no idea how this one is built at all, but they kind of look like they just built a big-ass base that nobody would ever want to raid. It also seems like they're going for the whole, you can only hop in if you have building privilege, so people are going to have to blow in through the foundations. That seems a little too high to jump. You might be able to jump it. I personally have no idea. And then over here, it seems like they have their nice little furnace, and it honestly just makes sense. It's a very basic shape. Very easy. They have a lot of shooting floors. They use pillars all the way to the roof for stability. And of course, they do the typical little hatch to the roof with triangles and just little shooting platforms. And this is one of the biggest ones on the server that we've seen personally. And honestly, I have no idea if anybody would be able to raid this. And then literally right next door, we have this guy right here. I have no idea what he's going for, but it seems like he's going for the whole build like a shithead. That way nobody could ever figure out what the fuck I'm doing, because I have no idea what this thing is. It looks like it may have actually been raided. I'm going to go through this door since it is open, but I don't want to show the whole base if it's not open, so we're not going to go through that hatch. It has no code lock on it. And this seems like just probably their shooting floor, but really doesn't matter. Again, I'm trying not to show people's designs because they might be trying the same design on the other server, and I don't want to figure it out by obviously cheating. So one of the bases that's been up for quite a while. Again, they have their front door, so I assume they're probably not rated. This is another one of those bases that has been a long withstanding base on the server. They go for probably the easiest design to build as. They have their noob tower in which they will go up, and then they use this bridge to cross over. A bridge that can be easily broken to keep people from jumping across. And then, of course, this thing is just honeycombed to absolute shit. And this is also honeycombed to absolute shit. Kind of a shooting tower, probably their loot midway down here. One of the easiest and like probably the most common building ways. But they also went above and beyond and created these cages with the turrets outside. Honestly, I think Ross needs to do something with these cages and actually make it so... I think they need to turret nerf now that they've made them so easy to get, honestly. But it's a pretty cool thing. I haven't personally seen this actually happen on any other servers. Mainly because they made turrets easier in the most recent patch to actually get, and now I'm seeing this more and more often. So this is the base that me and my clan personally tried to raid, and it was pretty difficult. The way that they have this set up is, obviously they have a ton of neighbors and a ton of friends. Their friends and neighbors are right there. They also have more friends and neighbors right here, and they also have some more friends and neighbors right over here, or they did. Where the hell did that base go? What in the fuck? There was a base over there a couple days ago. And then we also had a raid house just over here. This is actually our raid house. I can't open that door. This was our raid house for this said raid over here. But the way that they built this place was pretty much just honeycomb to shit. Make it so awkward that most people wouldn't be able to figure it out. And honestly, it worked out pretty well. They had their hatches on the roof that would actually shoot down into their base, as well as cracks in their base that would shoot down into other areas. So when you were running through the hallways, you would get shot by a guy up here and all these hatches. And it was just kind of a hectic kind of thing to raid. But it was one of the longest withstanding bases on the server, honestly, as well as the turret one right next door. I believe there was one more base that I was going to show off, so let's get to it. So last but not least, we have this cave base here. I've been inside their base before, so they're not going to mind me showing it at all, but it was kind of original. I haven't really seen anything built like this before. I don't think they really went for the whole defensive strategy thing, but they did build on more of a quiet, cozy corner of the map where most people weren't going to raid them. They also had a weed shop here for noobs. It was kind of funny when I saw this, as well as they used to have a giant house right out front of their base, but it seems like it's either gone or decayed or something. I'm not completely sure, but if we go inside... straight through the door, you're going to see a turret to the left, ready to shoot your face off if you start blowing in. And then you go through another door. And this is what I thought was so cool about the base. They just built this kind of like foyer. Very open foyer. This is where they actually had their smelting. This is where they had the refinery. This is where they had their sleeping bags. This is where they got their water. This is everything. They had their own little outdoor oasis built. Pretty much on the edge of possibly what you can build. As you see, these stairs are floating, and these foundations are literally to the highest they could probably possibly go. They have their defensive turret in here, probably where they slept, like I said, right there. And I'm not going to show you where their loot is or anything. They obviously left all their doors open because they could really care less since wipe is today. But other than that, I don't think there was too many other crazy bases on this server. There was one built on top of a rock. But there really wasn't too much to show about it. This is just a really cool server. Honestly, this was one of my more favorite wipes ever. It did help that I actually finally had a squad together that was more than willing to play and help us grind and get everything going. On the map scale, this seed was probably like a 5 out of 10 on my scale. I didn't really like how mountainous and how many bushes and like kind of just like awkward all the rivers came around. There was really no like crazy advantageous points to build that you could find. Really, caves were the way to go. And most servers are going to have like 4 to 5 caves. I think 3K was perfect. We'll see what the population is like on the server during this wipe. If you guys are looking for information on the server, again, you can find it in the description down below. And we will be wiping XP and the map every single Thursday, mainly because I want the new players to be able to come in and have fun. Inexperience 3 times is honestly fine. In about 3 days, our highest member in our clan was a level 32. So pretty much if you go around hunting bears and you just go to rad towns and start picking up bins, you really shouldn't have an issue at least getting to C4 2 or 3 days before wipe. So it was a good balanced number, and I think next time it should be pretty fun. This is actually where we built personally. You just can't see our bases right now because I'm out of rendering distance. But it was a pretty fun server. I hope you guys enjoyed this little episode, just kind of a server tour. I'm thinking about doing these on the end of every wipe just to kind of show off like the people that spent a lot of time on the servers and try to get them to come back if they did like the server and the way it worked. This is the airfield. One of the smaller airfields I've actually seen. Very open, very basic. But I'm going to be changing the seed, going to be changing everything around, wiping everything as soon as the update comes out. Usually around 5 p.m. EST, so just check for the server when you guys see the devlog posted on playrust.com. Come play on my server. It's pretty fun. The community's not that toxic, but, you know, it's Rust. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.